Good morning, and thank you for joining us today for this presentation on the Melrose Hotel. So today we'll be taking you through the performance results for year one of the Melrose. We'll be advising on the decisions that were made and whether certain KPIs and targets were achieved. The strategies that we will be aiming to implement for next year will also be presented at the end of the presentation. So before we start, I would just like to introduce you to the management team. So we'll have Morgane Auréard, Emine Karapetian, Diana Kardash, and myself. So before the strategy, this presentation will start with an overview of the market conditions and the business circumstances prior to this year's strategy. We'll be giving you more information on the hotel and how it was performing before the team arrived. I will also be presenting the key performance indicators that the team chose to pursue for the year. First, I'll start with market share and the market penetration performance of the Melrose Hotel. Emine will look at occupancy rates and how the strategy was adjusted to maximize it. Diana will overview the guest satisfaction results. And finally, Morgane will explain the staffing strategy and our hotel reputation over the year. Emine will come back to conclude this presentation and recap on the strategy that was implemented. And Morgane will present our focus points for next year's strategy. So first, to start with the market overview and a presentation of the hotel. The Melrose Hotel is a 300 rooms, 4-star service, which has not been renovated since its opening 8 years ago. The hotel and its competitors were having decreased performance over the past years. Indeed, the market encountered some difficulties in the past years, especially financially, as it was very difficult to find some investments to be able to renovate. There has been, however, a recent economical upturn as some businesses' headquarters have recently been moved in the area. This means that the hotel will therefore be able to capitalize on the business segment of the target market as it provides a conference room within the property to organize events. Now, the location of the hotel is also very ideal for leisure travelers. The Melrose will then be able to attract the transient segment of the target market if the strategy is appropriate. Moving on to the key performance indicators, the team chose to focus on 4 main targets. The first one being market penetration and a focus on competitive positioning and reaching our fair market share. Another one will be on occupancy. As the hotel is unrenovated, it would have been hard to charge higher prices, therefore maximizing occupancy was put as a priority. Then guest satisfaction is our third focus. Reputation in our area is one of the most important factors in hotel performance. Therefore, making sure that customers are satisfied will ensure customer loyalty and guarantee repeat purchases. Finally, staffing is the last performance indicator. As the hotel works in the service industry, it is of the utmost importance to ensure that our staffing competencies are up to standards. Now, personalized service is necessary as customers have become increasingly exigent on their expectation. So let's start with market share. So with 7 hotels in the competitive set, each with 300 rooms, this means that the fair market share level is at 14%. In the graph, as you can see, the market share varied across the different quarters. Indeed, there was an inconsistent performance which led to a drop in market share percentage in the second quarter to under 13%. This was mainly due to a lack of investment in advertisement and marketing, as nothing was invested until the month of April. However, when these started, the expenses for marketing were considerably lower than the competitors' investments. Additionally, contract cleaning was operating in the month of April to June, which led to a number of rooms being unavailable and therefore putting a cap on occupancy, and the occupancy rate was then limited. The market momentum position on the advertisement spending for the Melrose Hotel also never went above the 3rd position and on average stayed around the 5th or lower position, indicating a slightly weaker focus on investment strategy and advertising than its competitors. Combined with an ADR that increased in those months, this led to customers looking for somewhat of an alternative that was a bit cheaper. However, the expenses were increased in marketing and helped boost the market share to an all-time high of 14% in July. Overall, the hotel did not have a very strong position within its competitive set. However, it's important to notice that the market share of the Melrose Hotel was never far from its fair market share. As you can see, it's reached 14%, and the fair market share is slightly above 14%. So moving on to market segmentation now. It is very clear to see that the group segment outperformed the competition, and it was thanks to charging low prices than the competition at the beginning of the year. As you can see, our market penetration index was almost 120 in the month of February. Now, the transient and discount segments, however, suffered as the room quality was not reflected in the prices that were charged. Indeed, no full renovations were done during the year, only soft redos. And as competitors slowly focused and did full renovation in their rooms, they had better room quality than the Melrose Hotel. And the Melrose Hotel seemed to have a little bit lower quality than its competitors. Now, this explains the slight decrease in market penetration index in the last few months of the year. However, overall, there was a slow increase of market penetration on all segments as the ADR was adjusting during the year from $190 to $165 to be able to match the current room quality. This allowed the Melrose to stay at a moderate position within this competitive set. I will now let Emin explain the occupancy results of the hotel.
Thank you, Maud. So I would like to start with the occupancy. Occupancy percentage is one of the most important KPIs available because it provides the high-level overview of the hotel performance, and it's the foundation on which to measure a number of the other KPIs. Looking at the Melrose Hotel at the beginning of the year, with the lowest point of 58.87% average occupancy, the rate, however, rose to a peak of 73.51% in September. The year ended at an average of 64%, which is an improvement from the starting of the year. Regarding room prices, the total average room daily rate at the end of year one for the Melrose Hotel was $164 across all rooms, with 71,388 rooms sold. Next, please. The ADR is evaluated using the total rooms revenue divided by the number of rooms sold. Melrose's rates at the beginning of the year were the lowest compared to its competitors. For January year one, as we can see on the table, the total ADR was at the point of $165, when by July year one, the rates had risen to $167. However, by September, the prices has dropped to $162 and ending at the $161 in December. Next, please. The net average daily rates for premium rooms in Melrose Hotel were at the price of $175 by the end of February year one, while its competitors, Glitter Hotel, averaged $230. By mid-year, the premium net ADR for Melrose Hotel had risen to $200 compared to Camellia, which was $205. In September, the rates rose to $205, matching the Camellia Hotel and surpassing Glitter by $3 and the Emirate Hotel by $5. Other competitors such as Neroli Hotel, Broco Hotel, and Royal Game Hotel were higher by $55, $5, and $15 respectively. We can see it on the table. Therefore, it is accurate to note that Melrose Hotel has well-established rooms and a strong customer base in the area compared to its competitors. Further, the high occupancy figures of competitors, including Neroli Hotel, Broco Hotel, and Royal Hotel, are related to the high number of rooms available. Pricing is the key determinant for the occupancy for both Melrose Hotel and the competitors. As it can be seen on the table, three competitors continuously benefited from high occupancy rates and even charged higher prices compared to Melrose Hotel. Adjusting the prices accordingly due to the competitors' actions had a positive impact on the hotel's performance, and the adjustments helped the hotel to maintain its market penetration while still making the profit. And now Diana will continue with the guest satisfaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Armin. Guest satisfaction was one of our 4 main KPIs in Melrose Hotel. And it is difficult to measure guest satisfaction because it's an intangible factor. And also different customers have different expectations and service can be delivered in different ways. However, for Melrose Hotel, we identified main criteria which affect their satisfaction, and it is room renovations, number of facilities and services provided, customer service, and advertising through different channels. In the beginning of the year, the overall level of guest satisfaction in Melrose Hotel was quite low. However, we made constant improvements in each area, and it resulted in overall guest satisfaction reached by 72% by the end of the year. So during the first operating year, we made soft refurbishments in premium rooms and public areas, increased number of services and facilities, improved service by staff training, hiring more employees and paying competitive wages, and always reviewed and replied on customer feedback carefully. By the end of the year, guests were highly satisfied with guest services, and it is present on the graph with the green color. However, room refurbishments were perceived only at 48%, and as we can see, graph, it's in red color. Next slide, please. Such a low level of guest satisfaction with room quality can be explained by hotel focus on soft refurbishments and cleaning rather than renovations, and especially the focus was more on premium rooms rather than standard rooms. And we suggested to focus on soft refurbishments because the general strategy of the hotel is maximizing occupancy. However, renovations would lead to many rooms out of order, especially in high season, and which in turn will reduce revenue in short term, which is not beneficial. But also we decided not to take a loan in the bank to avoid financial risks, and our own budget was not sufficient enough to make renovations. Our direct competitors have similar strategies in gaining customer loyalty. And after we conducted a benchmarking, we saw that all our competitors have quite the same level of services and facilities, quite the same number of services provided. So here, competitive advantage may be gained only by providing high level of service. But the room quality in other hotels was perceived by customers much better. So while our primary focus for the next year improvements in point of improving guest satisfaction will be room renovations in both categories, standard and premium. And probably for this purpose, we will need to take bank loan. But it's essential to renovate rooms because it's our hotel brand, and there were no renovations for 8 years. Then we will invest in technologies such as hotels app, where guests can easily book online and ask for room service, and also customer relationship management systems. We will personalize service more by reporting repeat guests and providing warm welcomes for guests, such as greeting in rooms and probably free breakfast. And also we decided that it's important to open a guest relationship department to have better connection with our guests. So now Morgan will continue with staffing.
Okay, thank you, Diana. So our staffing strategy was organized around 3 main pillars. First of all, the pay. So how much do our employees get paid for the job? The training, how much those employees are trained in a hotel. And finally, the number of staff, which means how many people do we have in each team. So in the first month, the decision was made that some employees should see their payroll increase in order to increase their willingness to work, their motivation, but also the quality of the service delivered. At the same time, in order to save costs, we decided to decrease the numbers in each team to spend this money on the renovation of this hotel. So at the beginning, our goal was to achieve a 70% guest satisfaction by the end of the first year. We needed a few months in order to adjust this strategy to the current market, but also to the competition. Throughout the months, we saw that our strategy was too uncertain and lacked of consistency to make real changes on the guest satisfaction and on the staff competencies. So as you can see on this graph, you can see the correlation between the guest satisfaction, the staffing, and its competencies. You can see that once we decided to drastically increase the training expenditure and therefore boosting the competency of our staff, the guest satisfaction increased at the same moment in the same proportion, driven beforehand by the staffing level of our team. So by the end of the 12 months rolling, the staff performance and the guest satisfaction were at their highest level. So the Melrose achieved its goal to perform 70% competencies and guest satisfaction, because we had 71% guest satisfaction and almost 72% of staff performance in the months of January the next year. So first of all, we decided to increase the training to 2 to 3% to the actual salary of a staff. And you can see that this strategy didn't work out. You can see it's the first 3 months of the year. But then we decided to outperform the competition and do our own way and increase the training of a staff about 10% of the salary, placing us way behind, way ahead the competition on the staff retention. This enables also to increase the staff retention, but also increase the staff competencies. As you can see, almost constant growth of the competencies and staff satisfaction, guest satisfaction. So we can predict in the next few months that a continuous improvement on the guest satisfaction is likely to attract more guests and therefore having a better market share. About our position toward the competition, it's quite complicated to get this information as this is not on the public access. But as far as we know, for the first 5 months, the Melrose was behind the competition due to poor guest satisfaction and poor training. So we decided to increase the pay level, increase the training, and increase the number of people in each team. And this, as a result, dragged a constant increase of the guest satisfaction and the staffing level, placing us in the same road and the competition. So in the next few months, we have to continue with this strategy in order to attract more market share and have more customer loyalty. Then it's important to have a look on the reputation evolution of our hotel. So the reputation is made out of several criteria, and within this one, you can have the refurbishment, the marketing expenditure, but also the training of a staff and the guest satisfaction. So in the month of April, in order to have better understanding of our position, we decided to pay for the feature, giving us access to the online reputation of our hotel, but also the one of our competitors. So it's possible to see on this graph that our reputation, so the blue line, is very unstable and less good than the one of our competitors. And we decided to choose the Roku Hotel and the Camellia Hotel. The highest points were achieved because of a good combination of a positive guest satisfaction, great refurbishment, but also a good advertising strategy. However, you can see that on the month of November, we are peaking down at our almost lowest point of reputation. And this is due a couple of months after we also picked our lowest month on our guest satisfaction and staff level. So in the next few months, it will be absolutely necessary to have a look on this reputation in order to win more market share and more occupancy in the next few months. So now Hermine will conclude our presentation.
Thank you, Morgan. So to conclude our presentation on Melrose's performance from January year 1 to January year 2, it is necessary to recap on the strategy. Indeed, the performance for the first months of the year was unstable. The lack of clear and distinct goals and a defined strategy penalized the hotel within its competitive set. Both the occupancy rate and the market penetration indexes followed a similar tendency of slow increase, yet stayed behind the competition and never reached the fair market share. It is, however, necessary to mention that this lack of strategy didn't cost the property any money, as no bank loans were taken out from the whole year and no extra equity investments were required. The revenues continued to increase even if the next profit followed downward path. In the last months, the strategy regarding room prices, staffing, and competition positioning was better defined, which indicates a potential for better performance in the coming year. Throughout the first year, the team built confidence on taking clear decisions, following a targeted strategy, and implementing action plans to achieve KPI targets. Thank you. And now Morgan will talk about the recommendations. Thank you.
Okay, so here are our recommendation and the strategy we want to follow next year in order to win more market share, having more revenue and occupancy. So first of all, we want to make investments in the room qualities with full renovation to maximize the guest satisfaction. So as my team explained, we decided only to do soft goods renovation and small renovation that make our room unavailable for using, but increase our revenue. So in order to have a full renovation, this will need an investment about £3 million. So this may seem a lot, but it will bring a high return on investment, as it will enable us to set higher prices in the next year and attract a bigger target market with a better quality. Afterwards, we want to focus on staff retention. So the staff retention will be achieved if we continue to have a better pay and a better training than our competitors. And this is exactly the situation we are currently in. So therefore, we will need to pursue in the same direction that what we did last year. And finally, we will reinforce our position on food and beverage by offering a leasing contract on a large restaurant chain. Indeed, in the comment we received in the past year on social media, we received some complaints about food and beverage quality, but also the food and beverage service. Therefore, improving our food and beverage position will help us attract new guests and having a better customer loyalty and improving this whole area and the whole hotel. I would like to thank you for your listening, and if you have any question, you can find our email address on this slide, which is melrose@enquiry.com. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.